What a pleasure. Winfried Engelbrecht-Bresges, the Chief Executive Officer of the Hong Kong Jockey Club. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you, Wei.
Well, I guess it's a great start of the year of the rabbit, and Happy New Year to you. I know you had a great time because the daily turnover of the Hong Kong Jockey Club during the Lunar New Year festival season was actually terrific, only after 1997.
It was a terrific turnover with over 2 billion Hong Kong dollars. But more important, it is always a special race making in the heart of Hong Kong people. And we had over 80,000 people who joined us at the races. And this was a perfect start. We had a great atmosphere, we had great sport, and it was a happy start. And this is most important and is auspicious.
You must be there, I'm sure.
It's a must to go.
Yeah. So what was it like in the hustle bustle, opened up and connected with the mainland, connected with the world, and looking at people, how they feel about their potential?
I personally think it was definitely a very challenging time. But we as an organization were able to sustain racing during the whole period. And racing in Hong Kong is something very special. It shows the resilience of Hong Kong. It's very close to the heart of Hong Kong people. But now, in a way, with the opening up again, with international tourists coming and with friends from mainland coming, it is the start and the hope of a new era. And that is behind us and that we can look optimistic into the future.
Having said that, though, let me talk about how your industry is likely to grow as we are turning over to a new page for the year 2023. You earlier talked about the development both on the mainland and in Hong Kong. How do you see the potential of the Greater Bay Area providing to you at this moment?
For us, even before it was called Greater Bay Area, we had a very clear long-term vision, called it Pearl River at that time, that Hong Kong has to look at the integration into the Pearl River Delta and call it now Greater Bay Area. Because Hong Kong, if you look at demographics, there is, and the space in Hong Kong, there is no growth. So we think, especially after 1997, the long-term future of Hong Kong is an integration into mainland and providing value to mainland. So we, in a way, funded the Asian Games. Then we built a training center in Chongfa, where now a lot of our top world-class horses are trained, and they go back and forth via a special channel. We have an agreement between the Guangdong government and the Hong Kong government to expand the equine industry from Hong Kong into the Greater Bay Area. And we will build a race stand, which will be the first sustainable grandstand in the world. And we'll have racing as entertainment and sports and entertainment as a tourist attraction in Chongfa in 2026. So we see the real potential of Hong Kong's uniqueness and Hong Kong's skill set, global skill set.
Actually, the equine industry is already quite booming before the COVID, as you said. There were also already a lot of interactions between the mainland and Hong Kong. What was it like earlier? What was the function of different locations of Hong Kong Jockey Club's both training center, racing area, and also the breeding center?
So we have started practice. It takes a very long planning, and it took us around 7-8 years to establish a training center, because we had to expand the status of Hong Kong horses globally into mainland China. So we built the first equine disease-free zone, which gets approval of the International World Health Organization for animals. So we started the training 2018. We trained from scratch 600 people who are now our employees, who are now really specialists to taking care of horses, to training horses. And we have always collaborated with different stakeholders in mainland, but especially the sports administration. So we funded the development of training programs for equestrian riders, for equestrian trainers, because we think capacity building is one of the key issues which we as world-class organization can bring to mainland. And in mainland, there are now already 1,200 riding schools. We think there will be probably around 5,000 to 10,000 riding schools in 5 to 10 years.
Now, Winfried, you know that over the past few years, there has been tremendous changes, both in Hong Kong and also in the relations between Hong Kong and the mainland, and of course, internationally speaking. So how do you see the focus of your work now? Is it going to be more focused on mainland interactions, or is it going to be more focusing on international interactions for your industry and also for your club?
First of all, I think we have been a global leader in the field of horse racing and sports entertainment. So we will still keep expanding our international activities. And we are now a global hub for everything which happens in the horse racing world. The Asian Racing Federation's headquarters are in Hong Kong. I'm the chairman of the International Horse Racing Federation. And I think Hong Kong has a special role in connecting the West with the East. And this role, I think we want to further strengthen. But then it comes to the mainland development. I believe, and there is a National Equine Development Plan, which was published in 2020. So we see that we can bring the international expertise of developing such an industry into China. So our main focus in relation to investment will be in mainland China. And I see it goes especially in the field of capacity building.
We know now over the past few years, different countries and the booming cities are up to fierce competition with Hong Kong. Now, on the one hand, that's a great thing because competition brings excellence on different sides. On the other hand, there is an urgency for Hong Kong's economy to function even better and to Hong Kong to serve as the bridge between China and the world. Now, from your perspective, what are likely to be the most competitive edges that you are working on right now so that the equine industry and also your club will be, quote unquote, the winner?
We will become the global hub for everything which has to do with horse racing. And how does this translate into China? We would like to make contributions to the building up of a breeding industry in China. Because when you look at long-term supply chain, we have to not only rely on horses coming from Australia, from Europe. There is over a 10, 20-year period. There should be a breeding industry in China. And the race course in especially Shunfa could be a center who drives the excellence of horse racing, especially for breeding purposes in China.
Sports should be neutral, and yet it is a matter of fact that we are living in a world of realities. So how do you see the equine industry and also the racing that you are working on? How do you try to keep it from geopolitics, from changes in other factors of the world, to make sure that people can enjoy it to the utmost degree?
Politics should not be in sports. If we cannot have a vision how we can work globally together, and for me, I always try to develop the same vision, get a buy-in into this vision, then get an agreement how we, in a harmonious way, work together to achieve this vision. Because horse racing globally has challenges, and we can address these challenges only globally. So far, we have been successful, not that geopolitical issues come into the federation, but it's a continuously engagement, especially if it comes to Hong Kong. There are a lot of stories about Hong Kong where I tell my colleagues they should look at it and come and see. And they will see that a lot of reporting is significantly biased. And therefore, we have to, the opening of Hong Kong, and especially the special role Hong Kong has, is unique to tell the story of the one country, two systems. And now with the COVID restriction gone, we hosted, for example, one of the biggest international race meetings in December. We deliberately had invited friends from all over the world to have international meetings of our different committees here. We showed them what Hong Kong has done during COVID. We opened up the Palace Museum. We had functions at Palace Museum. We showed West Kowloon, the M+. And people, when they were here, they thought, maybe what I read or hear or see is not the truth. And this storytelling, connecting to people, showing in a way how Hong Kong has grown.
Can you still remember one or two questions that they ask you that you think are important to share both the question and the answer here?
I think probably the most telling question was why, in a way, the reports about Hong Kong and the freedom of Hong Kong people are that negative. He said, when I be here and talk to people, I don't have the impression they're suppressed. And I said, it has to do that a lot of times media pick one controversy or one to come to a storytelling which is not shows how Hong Kong has developed. Mm-hmm. And it goes always back that currently we have, unfortunately, a very biased press and a very biased reporting to, especially to Hong Kong and in general to mainland. And for me, it comes back, we have to bring more people to Hong Kong, we have to bring more people to China, that people can see what's the real life in this world, in this part of the community is.
Having said that, though, let me move on to another area of your work, philanthropy. So now, what is your focus? There are so many things as we are having polycrisis, shall we say, in the world.
I think if you look at the Hong Kong Jockey Club as a model, we have always, in a way, be from the beginning not for profit. For example, we had in COVID measures where people could not get masks, where people could not get medication, where people had even significant food issues. We created actually the first electronic food bank. So therefore, intermediate measures to help needy. One of the strategic donations for the 20th anniversary was the Palace Museum. We had always collaboration with the Palace Museum where we had exhibition. And when we were contacted by the former chief executive, Carrie Lam, and saying, what would be a good donation for the 20th anniversary? We immediately concluded the Palace Museum is unique because people have to understand in Hong Kong, Chinese culture. And that was a unique opportunity. The other area is building healthy communities. Because what we've summarized under there is significant investment, for example, into hospitals, into building, in a way, community, even mental health.
How do you see, as a business person yourself and running one of the biggest philanthropy in this part of the world, looking at these mixed pictures?
We are definitely living in one of the most complex times, but it goes back that one has to clearly analyze what are the key strategic themes which connect people around the globe. Yeah. One issue is environment. And we can solve environments, long-term sustainability. The other one, what I think is even most important, is cultural exchange. What I see that there is such a misunderstanding. I live now since nearly 25 years in Hong Kong. The understanding of friends I have in the West is that community and community harmony is more important than individual rights, is a major philosophical difference. But to explain that, especially in Asia, that you need the community comes first, and that it's not only about my rights, that is about what can I contribute to a community, is a completely different philosophy of living. And that people understand this is, it's not that I'm right or wrong. One has to understand everything in the context of a community and a social context.
Winfried, I see you're very devoted to your work, enthusiastic about the future. Congratulations, Happy New Year, and wonderful to know more about your job. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.